before we get to our first break, this should have been the review of week 3 in high school football. So kind of wanted to kind of talk about some of the games that we should have been talking about last night. West Lincoln and Cherryville would have been on WCSL last night. East Rutherford at Brevard on Waggy. Over in Lincoln County, North Gaston and Lincoln. Kings Mountain, TC Roberson, Shelby West Cabarrus, and the game of the week last night that we would have missed, Burns at Crest, folks. So that's what we missed this week. Terry, another week of missed football.
Thank you, Q Tucker. Thank you.
That we're
Appreciate
playing in the spring.
Well, I will say one thing, Coach Pruitt, I got your hat on.
He does.
I did wear that today for you, so I did not forget our game that would have happened last night. But over in Burns, I mean, Crest would have probably come in there and took care of the smoke.
Like last year?
Yeah,
Just like last year, right? Just like last year.
He's going to make Trent Marty
Just
come
like
up
last
here
year.
and just wrestle him.
Yeah.
that he's safe in that corner right now.
They took care of him just like last
But
year.
he's trying
right?
to get Trent to come up here and have a. He's not going to say many words to you, Terry. You keep hating on his Burns and Ohio State Buckeyes.
I do worry about Trent and his temper. And he does have a bit of a temper sometimes. So Terry,
What?
you better not poke the beast.
It's not
You're
Trent,
like- you're
the
like-
one that come in last week and didn't discuss anything with anybody but dropped a gift off and
I
left.
told you there would be no discussion.
because he does not like to voice his
Oh, my
sentiments
God.
publicly.
I
because
never worry about people who say nothing.
You don't want to put Trent Marty on the radio because there are FCC regulations. Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I'll say. All right, we don't need to lose the license or get fined because I kind of like my second job.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
I
So.
so
That's
need
right.
an air horn.
See, Trent knows I like
Yeah.
him, so he's
Yeah.
not
I
worried.
keep
I'm not so
thinking
sure he
about-
does.
I keep
I don't know
thinking
if I'm sure he
about
does.
bringing an air horn. If you're driving by the station today, give us a beep when you go by out here on 150 besides the Cherryville Animal Hospital. Good morning, JP. You about ready for our first break? We're going to get to it in just a few moments. We're going to get JP up and working after this first break.
I did watch, you talking about high school football, I did watch IMG play last night. ESPNU had
Yeah.
them on, and I did watch him play. The kid, the quarterback. I mean, every time
So
they named
ESPN can cover high school athletics, but we cannot.
Well, the thing that really got me. Well, the thing that really got
because
me.
they don't make a lot of money.
No,
You know,
that's
they don't
right.
make-
They
you know,
don't, man.
they just they gotta
Well,
help the little guy.
Yeah,
The
they're
thing that I
always
got last night was when I was watching it, every kid that IMG sent out there was a #1 star going somewhere,
Imagine that.
But
Are they
this is a
private school?
Well, it's a school that can get their own people. I'll put it like that,
It's like Oak Hill for basketball.
Mhm.
Football.
about.
So
See,
yeah.
but that's what high school athletics are about. You should recruit and build a team. Man, that's what we
Yeah.
do in high school. I mean, forget the community and all that stuff.
And sell hot dogs.
I mean, what happened? To Kid's Choice. I mean,
Yeah,
wherever
they
he
was
wants to
playing
go to
Venice
school.
last night, and that game was over pretty quick.
What happened to that?
So this would have been the end of week 3. We have on our schedule to have to broadcast some games. With this year, we don't know how that's going to go. If as far as once they do let us do the games, hopefully the freedom of the press and some of this will weigh itself out a little bit, depending on even in NASCAR, Terry, we got a race coming up in a couple of weeks, and fans want to go, and we don't know if we're going to be allowed to by our government. And
There are 12,000 fans trying to go to Panthers game, and they said no. And Tepper, at least Tepper was very measured. Did you hear his comments on this? He basically said, "I understand the governor's got a tough job, but I am very frustrated." I mean, I just don't
Is South
see.
Carolina allowing fans at their football games?
I don't want to say that. because
Yeah, I don't want
probably
to
allow
say
'em
yes or
whatever
no.
you
Some
want.
of them are,
I'm
some of them
saying-
are not.
Wasn't there,
What I'm
wasn't there
saying-
about 25,000
What
at
I'm saying-
Daytona?
Something like
Yeah.
that, yes.
South Carolina is. Would you be surprised if Tepper says, "We'll go to Clemson and play"?
I
and
would.
getting fans.
If I was Tepper, I would, because
If this is one Carolina that they've been throwing at us for years.
I understand that you want to reduce the capacity and distance. I understand that. But if you have a 75,000 seat stadium,
right.
you're going to tell me you can't distance people out if you have 1/8 capacity.
And then what I don't understand either
let's be
is
reasonable here. Let's
how
be reasonable.
we've got other teams within the NFL, and I know we're going to get to them, but this stays with it. So with them not allowing fans here in North Carolina for Panthers games, but Panthers fans could travel
They could go
to
to
where
Miami
they
and
could go to
watch.
watch them play
But
when
here-
they're in Miami and be able to get
Yeah.
into a
Here's what-
game. Go into maybe Atlanta, because there are only a few teams that are like, week 1 there will be no fans, but after that it'll be just a limited capacity.
Here's what I
Right.
don't understand. If you're a Panthers fan, if you're Shannon Allen out there, what are you going to do? You're going to go to a friend's house and watch the game if you can't go.
Mhm.
So what's the difference? What's the difference? There's going to be indoor gatherings of 10, 12, 15 people.
They're gonna
in
stop people
apartments.
from gathering out there tailgating.
Yeah. You might be better off.
Your tailgate's going to be at your house.
You'd be better off encouraging people to go to outdoor venues. I mean, that's what we're supposed to be doing, right? Outdoor seating at restaurants and things like that, which I've seen a lot of. So I just don't understand it. An outdoor venue at about 15% capacity. So I just have to wonder who's whispering in the governor's ear.
Right.
I mean, I just
And so we see that
you know,
at the NFL level, and then this goes back to, what about when we get to whenever high school,
So-
if it actually happens?
Right. So we don't know if there'll be fans, if what the press, what we'll be able to do. Hopefully we'll be able to do the broadcast as normal, and then they can adjust with the fans. So scheduled, we have scheduled to do all the Crest, all the Burns, Kings Mountain, Shelby games. We had scheduled to do 2 Lincoln County games of the week, but now that's looking like it's going to be changing on that. Whether or not they allow whatever they allow this year, so that may be just 1 on the radio. We were looking into doing 2 video, but I don't know if that's going to happen in Lincoln County. On Cherryville, Milton and Danny, of course, we're going to do the Cherryville Ironman, and on Waggy, we would have had East Rutherford. Joining us this year, of course, on Kings Mountain was going to be Paul Foster, another Foster from the family of broadcasters, and 2 to be determined on who was going to help him. We've got to, I guess, find out from the state whenever they do open up everything, what they're going to allow, who they're going to allow, if they're going to allow people on the sidelines, if they're going to allow extra people in press boxes. So there's so many small variables that we.
If you just look at,
worry
I hate
about
to put it this
up
way,
to
but you just look at who's sitting at making the decisions. Well, who's the higher up? More than likely, I hate to tell you, that probably is not going to happen. They're probably going to keep it as limited as possible who can even show up. Yeah. And I hate that. But
what I'm saying, speaking of what you're saying, is I don't care what schools choose to do. They can't ban you from doing a radio broadcast. I'm sorry. I just don't see how that's legal. If you're a certified member of the media, then you should be able to at least do audio broadcasts. I would say.
I mean,
And I'm
we're
surprised
talking about
those-
public high schools here, not
I know.
private business.
and I'm surprised those high schools are going to turn down the fact that we actually have to pay them to be there. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
come on
fine.
now.
I mean,
That's what I think's
whatever
always
it
been
is,
BS,
that's
but
fine.
It
but
happens all the time, Hunter.
It's nothing.
You'll complain
what
about
is-
money, then turn it down.
The country has a long-standing tradition of making money off free labor. So I guess
Mhm.
that's all I'll say.
Well, my whole deal in behind it is don't forget when football was not around, KTC Broadcasting was there. You know, when they didn't have all these other venues for people to do and different things for people to do. Calvin, before Kevin come along now, and now Kevin's here, but they have been there forever, ever since 1995 when they first started doing radio at the games on Friday night. Before then, it was tape delayed and they run them on Saturday morning. But don't forget that. I mean, KTC has been here for every school around this area, from Gaston, Lincoln, Cleveland, Catawba, and they have done it. I mean, hey, give these guys a lot of credit. Hey, don't forget where you grew up at and where you come from. Don't ever forget those people.
Tell you how many counties in North Carolina cover their high school sports
Not many.
at all.
Not many.
Not much less. All
I
the
mean, you
sports
know,
they do. And
there's some, and I'll put it like this. There are some that's going to cover you if you make the playoffs, and they'll be there. But during a regular season, while you're playing, nobody's there.
I can say this too
And-
for KTC. When it comes to our coverage of high school athletics too, when I first came here, I was with a place, and I won't say who it was. I was with a station before, and they did high school athletics too. But when they did high school athletics, it was only football Friday night. They didn't
Yeah.
cover baseball. They
Yeah,
didn't cover
everything
football.
else.
They didn't cover basketball. They didn't cover everything that we cover. And not only that, they only had one game a night that you could tune in and listen to. Everybody else was the call-in numbers. They would just call in and give you an update from around here. With us, we're covering 4 or 5 different games a night on 4 or 5 different platforms.
Yeah, here's my question. you're gonna make this pay-per-view. What's the cut of the athletes? What are they getting? That's all I want to know. What are the athletes getting,
Oh,
Kevin?
Tom, that's a conversation that they don't even have at the college level.
That's all I want to know.
I just want to note that Tom Sinifani brought that up and not me.
Well, I will mention one thing. If you do,
I didn't have anything.
What's
to do
my
with
cut? That's
that.
what I'd be saying. If I'm a star quarterback, what's my cut?
Yeah.
What's my cut?
Mm-hmm.
Here's an assistant to the assistant to the assistant
Oh,
superintendent.
Does a
making
player
$100 grand?
transfer?
What's my cut?
Does a
You
player
know?
transferring from one school to another increase your sales at your stadium?
I tell you what.
Well, I mean, let's say we've had kids transferring out of here because of, and what I think is a delay in. I think they know what they were going to do. They were going to delay it, but they didn't want to say we're not going to play till spring. I think they'd had a mass exodus. And then I think it's about federal funding. I think it's about taxes. I think it's about how many kids are in our schools, how many we get to register, and then when they finally announce they're moving or whatever, then you've got kids that are going to go to South Carolina or are going to go. People keep saying South Carolina, Virginia. Are they playing in Virginia? I don't even know. I think Tennessee is, and I think Georgia is.
They don't care in Tennessee. I've been to Tennessee. I'll just go ahead and tell you.
I know
South
Virginia.
Carolina.
Well, I know they allowed Bristol.
I'll go get that.
I don't think they
and
will.
I'll
in
bring it
Virginia.
back in here.
I
But
was
will
in Tennessee recently.
I wanted to say one thing. If you do not think the KTC does not join and go anywhere they need to covering our teams around here, when Independence was winning 109 straight games, I had an opportunity. We did our games on Friday, and Independence games got moved to Saturday. And I said, you know what? I'm going down there. I'm going to go watch this team play. And I went down there. That's when Cox was still quarterback, and the leak had already left, but Cox was still there. And I got down there, and I walked in. They don't get me wrong, the people were great. They set me up, but then when I looked at media, I was the only one.
Yeah.
From anywhere watching this team. And this was like win number 76 or 77 in a row that they was getting ready to. Nobody was there.
Was you at their Independence home stadium?
Yes. They was probably no more than maybe, after all these games, maybe 250 people.
That's funny you brought that up. I was going, as far as, like you said, you don't want to talk. And it's kind of my theory with the Gastonia fans, how you've put so many schools in the city now, you move across the street, you lose your loyalty because you're pulling for your kids' team as opposed to your high school's team. But as far as Independence goes, Terry, I remember the first time I went over there was 23, 24. I was umpiring a game and over there over their baseball field, and I looked at the football field and I was like, that's no bigger than Bessemer City.
Mm-mm. It's not.
It's the same size as Bessemer City. Independence, and like you said, it's a Charlotte school. They've won all these state championships. Where did the money? What money did they earn or go?
Where did they put it?
Where did anything go? And they said they played at Memorial Stadium, which they did a lot. But still, Terry, that for the school that size, that field is no bigger than Bessemer City's.
This should have been like you was walking into Northwestern or Rock Hill.
At least Catholic.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yes. And, and when I walked in down there, I was kind of like, okay, well, I mean, I understand maybe. But after you've won that many state championships, I would love to know where your money went.
They've had to sell a hot dog or three.
Well, I mean, when I looked at it on that Saturday, and don't get me wrong, I know there's plenty of things for people to do in Charlotte on a Saturday night besides go watch a high school football game. I'm with that. But, around here, it's not like that. People go watch. If they move it to Saturday, if you go to West Lincoln, it's packed on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't care when you're playing.
Right.
It's packed. And, and for all these other schools around here, it's the same way. They enjoy going watching the future of our nation, really, because these are kids who are going to come out and no telling what they're going to be. But down there, I was very disappointed. But, I did stay for the whole game, in which it was not a game. I mean, I bet there wasn't 25 people on West Meck's side of the whole game.
Yeah.
Which I understand. I mean, they knew they was going to get trounced, so why go watch them?
The moms and dads showed up for that one, Terry?
Yes.
All right, so week 3, real quick, I'm going to go through what the schedule would have been. I went over through our Cleveland County schools. Over in Lincoln County, I talked to a couple of those. North Lincoln would have been hosting West Caldwell, and Lincoln would have been hosting North Gaston. East Rutherford would have been at Brevard this week. Polk County would have been at RS Central. Chase would have had this week off, Mr. Coach Cogdell up there and the gang, new
I
coach.
just want to say, Coach Godel, a great guy, great father, great husband. I wish him the best to Chase. I'm just sorry he didn't get a chance to show what he's got this year.
First year.
I know.
Has he lost any players? You heard anything like that?
I
to
have
South Carolina,
not.
Anything like it? Because they had a good team last year.
He's still in our, kind of like we have the radio thread. We still have like an old Burns teacher thread that we do every now and then. He always responds, but I'm scared to ask him. How about that?
Yeah.
I just don't want to.
yeah.
I don't want
I
to
understand.
upset him. I don't want to upset him because I know that could happen.
You want me to call him?
No, I don't want you to
okay.
call anybody.
All right.
No,
Okay, I'm
you are
sorry,
not
Tom.
my liaison ever. Just want to make that very clear, Terry.
It's weird. Terry has a.
Well, I was going to help you out.
There's
Terry,
Terry's
you're
nowhere
like-
in the middle. He's either in I like bothering everyone, or I don't want to bother nobody.
Terry
There's
is
one or
like
the other.
Terry's
It's
like a
it's weird.
bamboo splinter up underneath your thumbnail.
yeah.
That's how I can describe Terry right
He
now.
picks. He
I feel
picks
some
his-
animosity right now,
I
and
was trying to help
I
him
think
out.
I
He
need some
stays
I tried
out
to
of-
help Tom out this
You
whole
ain't-
week.
Hey Terry, how come you didn't respond to the 5-0 Indians win over the Royals to win the series again?
You know,
don't respond
Tom,
to
I'm
that.
glad you brought that up. We'll
Guys,
get
we
to
got-
that in a little
yeah,
bit.
we
let me
will.
finish this,
Yeah,
please.
we'll
go
get
to
to that in a
break.
little bit.
All right, we've got
We got
we'll get to
NFL to
that.
get to as well. It's going to take
Ashbrook
up
would
some
have been at
time.
East Lincoln. Hunter Huss would have been at South Point. Forest View would have been at Bessemer City. Stuart Kramer at East Gaston. Forest View would have been hosting Bessemer City. Sorry, Highland Tech at Lake Norman Charter. South Point this week would have been hosting Hunter Huss, and East Gaston hosting Stuart Kramer. That would have been your games of the week, and we would have had a power poll and all that other stuff. All right, guys, we got all kinds of things to talk about. We've got NCAA to talk about. Terry wanted to argue about some of that. We've got NBA playoffs, NASCAR in Daytona. We got a NASCAR minute. My kids did it this week, and we've got a little baseball to talk about and NFL preseason predictions, folks. Football. It starts
That's it.
Thursday night.
That's it.
NFL football, folks.
It's hard to believe.
Panthers will be on KTC broadcasting as always. JP, you ready? There you go. He's got the breakfast going. He's got his mouth full, but all he's got to do is use that finger there, right, JP? Don't give me that finger. All right, we'll see you back in a little bit. We'll be back in a minute. KTCBroadcasting.com.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could go look at a new car or truck and you didn't have to worry about getting caught up in those games that waste half your day? Well, Friendship Nissan and Friendship Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, and Forest City is different because we're fast, easy, and transparent. We have over